We have some big, brand new 40k lore, and it's all to do with Guilliman and his decisions he made 10,000 years ago. So let's jump in, let's read it, and let's get waffling. Now, let me just give a warning at the start. This is taken from the brand new Dawn of Fire book, The Silent King. If you're currently reading this book and you don't want to be spoiled, if you're planning to read it and you don't want to be spoiled, then please leave the video right now. This is your first and only warning. This is not a full spoiler summary of the book. I just want to discuss a certain passage which I think is very, very big in terms of Warhammer 40,000 lore. Now, shout out to Shazla Kayas over on Twitter, because I completely missed this when I went through my audio listen of this, but Guilliman does have a massive regret, and I think this is going to play into a brand new series that's just been announced, that is the Scouring. I'm going to put up the text in the background right now. I'm going to set the scene. It's Guilliman, Sicarius. He has a lot of regrets, and it states, mistakes have followed mistakes, he had told Sicarius one night. He broke the legions. He humbled the Mechanicum. He created institutions that now threatened everything. His brother's thirst for vengeance had propelled him into disaster, pursuing Fulgrim when he should have withdrawn. One cut of the traitor's sword had robbed the Imperium of its stability. While he languished in stasis, his brothers had vanished, not dead, vanished, wreaking damage on one institution or another through their rivalries, petty disputes and obsessions before they were done. While he slept, the Imperium slipped from decline into ruin. These things troubled the Primarch, and so they troubled Sicarius. And this is the big line now that's been highlighted, because Guilliman states, if only I had not pursued Fulgrim, the Primarch had said. If only I had not broken the legions. If only, if only, if only. It concerns Sicarius, the last great hope of humanity, should feel this way, to look upon the Imperium and see only terminal wounds of his mistakes. Now, there's two big things in there, which, of course, I want to talk about. The first big one, it's all about the legions being broken up. We all know that Guilliman is the founder of the Codex Astartes, and after the Siege of Terror, he was the main person that has said to everyone, right, it's time to break up the legions. This can't happen again. The Space Marines are just too powerful. Look what Horus has done to Terror. Look what Horus has done to the galaxy. Let's break them up. Let's just have a head of 1,000 Marines per chapter. That way, if a chapter does fall to chaos, it's not 50,000 Marines. It's only 1,000 Marines, or, around 1,000 Marines, which I can completely get from Guilliman's side. But I think what he's saying here, what he's admitting, the way I read this, is that he regrets breaking those up now, because they were such powerful forces of reckoning to deal with threats like chaos, threats like the Necrons, threats like the Tau Empire, the Tyranids, and everything that's going on currently in the Warhammer 40,000 setting. I think he's looking back on these decisions thinking, at the time, they seemed the logical, the best way to approach this, but now with everything literally gone from 6 to midnight, we need legions back. These big forces, these just numerous forces of Marines are the only way to try and combat the threat that's in the galaxy at this moment in time. That's the way I took it. Maybe I'm wrong at reading this, but I do think now Guilliman regrets breaking up the legions of Space Marines. And adding to this, of course, we have just got the announcement of the Scouring. I am going to do a full video dedicated to that this week, because there's so many things they can do in the Scouring now that really excite me. But of course, one of the big things, and we've already seen the cover for this, because Dawn and Guilliman are literally at each other's throats. They're arguing about this. It is that argument about splitting up the Space Marine Legions, the Codex Astartes. The Imperium nearly went to another civil war between Dawn and Guilliman again. So all the foundations are going to be set there, and then we're seeing Guilliman and potentially his regrets at doing that all the way back then. Really exciting times, really looking forward to that book series, and of course it adds more flavour to what we're reading right here. And another thing I want to talk about is his pursuit of Fulgrim. This literally led to the downfall of the Imperium. I've stated this so many times. Yes, the Emperor was put on the Golden Throne, the Imperial dream was basically shattered, but we did have someone steering the ship still, and that person was Guilliman, and I will always have my respect for that. Dawn wanted to go off and be Crusader Dawn, vengeance Regent still crusading stuff, but Guilliman was left driving the ship still. And when he went after Fulgrim and Fulgrim sliced his throat, that was it. We were leaderless then. We had no one to steer the ship. I've always said the reason the Imperium is the way it is because of Fulgrim. He was the one that literally damned the Imperium. You can blame Horus all you want, but we still had someone there leading us. When Guilliman went and he was put in stasis, we had no one. That is when the High Lords of Terror took over, and basically they were just in it for themselves, right? They were just seeking their own empowerment and what they could do and empower themselves further and get more political gain and stuff like that. They didn't do it for the Imperium. They did it for themselves, where Guilliman did it for the Imperium. He led for the Imperium because he wanted to see the Imperium actually succeed. So when Guilliman went into stasis, that all crumbled. So it's nice that he actually sees his error in that way as well. He's hubris thinking he can take down Fulgrim. You know, he's not Rogal Dawn. Only Dawn can beat Fulgrim. Read Saturn and Gambit. I don't care what anyone says in the comic section. But yes, Guilliman regrets all that. He regrets breaking the legions up. He regrets going after Guilliman. I think this is a great character building from Guilliman. I think this book itself, it's a fun book. It's a great book. Like a lot of people have been saying to me, do I need to read the Dawn of Fire series to get into this book? I would say no. You can go out and actually pick up this book and just go from there. A lot of people are saying, when is this book set? Again, this book is set before the Plague War. So this is before he fights Mortera and everything like that. So there's not really anything big spoilerific in there that is going to ruin the narrative of the future books, like what's happened with the Lion and the Fourth Tyranid invasion. This is way, way, way before all of that stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, my question is to you chaps, do you see what I see? Does Guilliman really regret breaking up the legions? Should the legions have been broken up? Even though the legions were technically broken up, there was, of course, still some legions that didn't agree and just did their own thing. The Space Wolves were one of them. The Sons of Dawn was another one. The Black Templars, who were founded from the Codex Astartes, literally just made their mini legion. Like, they just said, hey, okay, we won't do legions, but we'll just have as many crusades as we can and put as many Marines in those crusades as the Codex allows. So if we have 15 crusades, it means we have 15,000 Marines. Rogal Dawn himself literally made the Last War Protocol. So if anything big did happen, everything just came back and the Legion was reformed again. We see this in the Beast Arises series. So even though Guilliman did break it up in a way, there was still things out there that was just like, you know, still screw Guilliman. But it's a fun thing to see that Guilliman may regret now. Well, I think he has regretted it, breaking up the Legions. And I wonder where the 40k timeline would be if we still had the Legions. Where would it be? Would we be in a more of a disaster, or do you think things would be going better for the Imperium? Let me know down in the comment section. I'm having a nice little chin wag down there, as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, evening, night, where around the world, and bye-bye.